I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Novi Public Library Board of Trustees this Thursday night, March 26, 2026. First of all, can we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Second, I'd like to welcome, first of all, our new recording secretary, Kristen Kaufhold. I thank you for joining us, and we look forward to working with you and taking good notes for us.
Thank you for having me. And Mark, I have a little bit of a write-up here to talk a little bit about Kirsten.
Perfect.
All right. So, Kirsten Kaufhold is a dedicated finance professional with a bachelor's degree in accounting, complemented by minors in communications and criminal justice. She is currently pursuing both a master's in accounting and an MBA from the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. Her professional experience spans public accounting, nonprofit tax leadership, corporate finance, and treasury operations. Kirsten began her career at small CPA firms before serving as assistant VITA coordinator at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, where she led volunteer tax preparation efforts and supported community members through the filing process. She later oversaw accounts payable for the North American operations of a $4 billion plastics manufacturer, helping strengthen financial systems and processes at scale. She currently serves as a treasury manager for a leading manufactured home property management company, where she focuses on optimizing cash flow, managing financial risk, and supporting strategic financial initiatives. Kirsten is deeply passionate about serving her community and advancing access to education. She believes in the vital role public resources play in lifelong learning and is honored to be stepping into the role of recording secretary for the City of Novi Public Library, where she looks forward to supporting the library's mission and impact within the community. Outside of her professional life, Kirsten is a proud mom to her 9-year-old son and is engaged to her college sweetheart, currently planning their wedding. She enjoys ice skating, swimming, and extreme couponing, always on the hunt for the best deal. Awesome. Welcome, Kirsten. We're very excited to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Very much so. And second, want to welcome Tori Yu, and welcome back is the word for Tori. For me, it's special because I first met Tori when he was a student representative, and that was I'm not as prepared as Carl in terms of years and all these.
I was like, how do I follow that?
All these things that he done. But I remember it was years ago that you were a student representative. I know that you were an intern in the library. You were on the board, and now welcome back. We're so glad that you've done a kind of like a full cycle, and it's really nice to see this in terms of when we meet younger people and they have a passion for what we're doing and they continue on, and you've done other things in the meantime, but you come back. We're really glad to have you on the board, Tori.
Yep, thank you so much. I'm happy to be back, as we were just saying, for the third time at the dais. But I'm glad to be back and to join you all for another fun time.
Good. This time I'd like the secretary to call the roll.
All right. Trustee Bartlett is absent excused. Trustee Burke?
Here.
Trustee Crawford is absent excused. Trustee Dooley?
Here.
Trustee Helvangus is here. Trustee Stirring?
Here.
And Trustee Yu?
Here.
All right.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
I have just one item to let you know about on page 4. That should say 2026 future events and not 2025. So just, yes. And
Where was that, page 4?
Page 4, yes.
On which event?
Page 4.
It should read 2026
2025
future
event.
events,
Okay.
yes.
I was
Thank you.
looking below it.
And thank you to Kirsten. She's already
She's
eyes
already-
on things and letting me know, so.
Cool.
Do we have a motion? Yeah.
With
I move to approve the agenda with the change.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda with the date change on page 4 from 2025 to 2026. Any comments on the agenda?
Yes, actually, I have a comment. I'm just wondering why we have, out of all the policies and statements and everything, why our DEI statement is on the agenda every month.
Oh, that was asked to be, when we were going through and we were looking to add the statement through DEI, it was asked to add to our agenda many years ago when it was adopted. So
Well,
I've just been following suit.
I was looking at, this is too loud, city council and a lot of other committees, and they don't have anything. So I think the DEI statement is great. I think we need it. I just don't think this is the place. I think it should be on the DEI page of the website.
Which we do have.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know how
I'm-
everybody else
I'm-
feels about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me
I'm
know.
not really passionate about removing it, but I think like the idea behind it initially was to kind of emphasize what we were trying to accomplish with regards to inclusion and access to the library. I think that's what the whole point was.
Well,
It was just emphasizing that at the
Yeah.
time.
I think it takes away from our mission statement.
What's
the
our
mi-
mission statement?
It's right
It's
above.
right above
Right
it.
above
Yeah.
it.
See, you didn't even.
But why does it take away from it?
Because it's 6 lines and the mission I mean, I think as a library, we need to emphasize our mission
Yeah.
rather than one particular policy that we follow.
Okay.
That's my thought.
That's your opinion, yeah.
I guess my thought was, it initially having a DEI statement made, a lot of sense because we developed it, it was, a few years ago, we've expanded it. I don't know, maybe it's run its course in terms of being on the front page of our agenda.
Now that we have a mission.
Yeah, I mean, we all agree with it.
Okay.
But I think we could have a lot of other important statements there as well. And so, I'm not opposed to it being there, but I also think maybe we've had it there long enough that the mission should take priority over the DEI statement in terms of.
And the mission was approved afterwards, so,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. This is just format, like I said, I've always put it in, there wasn't a vote or anything to do
Yeah.
it, so whatever you as a board would like in terms of, I usually ask every so often about the setup of the agenda and things like that, but it was just added when we approved it because it was something that we were following and
Yeah.
putting in place at the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that was a couple years ago, right?
Yes, yeah, November of 2024 was when we
That was
updated it.
before strategic plan, so.
It was,
Yeah.
So.
okay.
What were you gonna say, Carla?
I don't really have an opinion. I don't think it does any harm being there, but, so I don't feel strongly about needing to remove it.
Right.
So I
I'm,
sort of
yeah,
echo that.
same.
Neither am I completely married to having it, as long as we have the policy, that's the important part, I suppose.
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
so.
All right.
So then we would need to,
I don't
You
think
need
we
to
need to do anything
amend
with
the
that, or is it
motion?
just for the
Uh-uh.
next
No, you don't-
agenda? you-
No,
Yeah, there's
there
no
was,
vote
there
on
was
it.
no approval or anything for it to be part
Okay,
of,
yeah.
yeah, it was just practice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other discussion on the agenda?
Nope.
If not, we've had a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Burke,
yes.
trustee Dooley,
Yes.
trustee Helvangus says yes, trustee Stirring,
Yes.
trustee Yu.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of approving the minutes of February 12, 2026, a regular board meeting, and also approving the claims and warrants of accounts 271 and 272.
Move to approve?
Second?
The consent agenda has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? If not, I'll ask the secretary to call the roll.
Trustee Dooley,
Yes.
trustee Helvangus says yes, trustee Stirring,
Yes.
trustee Yu,
Yes.
trustee Burke.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
There are no presentations tonight, as I understand it. Next item on the agenda is public comment. In order to hear all the citizens' comments at a reasonable hour, the library board requests that speakers respect the 3-minute time limit. This is not a question and answer period or session. However, it is an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the library board. Citizens must state their first, last name, and address. Not seeing anybody rush up to the podium, the public comment session is over. Reports. Julie, I take it you're to do the teen space statistics?
Yes, it's on page 17, and the total to date for visits in Teen Space is 4,504.
Any question in regard to teen statistics?
I have a quick question about that. So has there been any feedback since we reduced the Friday teen space offering?
I haven't had anything come directly to me. No.
Good.
Yeah.
Any grumblings from the students or?
No, we haven't.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing's come up to me. I can see if there's been anything that's been brought up in Teen Space with the staff, but nothing's come up.
If it was urgent, you would have known about it.
Right.
So, we were
And they
just
usually
curious.
include feedback when they give me statistics of comments and things like that. But
Oh, okay.
I'll be happy to reach out.
Next item agenda is the president's report. Number of things to report on tonight. First of all, on page 18 through 20 is not only the proclamation of Governor Whitmore's designating March as a reading month. There was actually a nice 2 pages of examples of the concern from the governor in terms of the importance of reading and various things that have been done. In the past, I sort of just remember the 1-page proclamation, but this was much more elaborate and much more detailed. I won't read the proclamation, but it is very much appreciated as a library, and I think all the educators appreciate setting aside a special month for reading. And then also, we have a new executive director from MLA, and Dylan Geschel, who's been involved with the organization for a number of years, was the interim director, but was named, he's no longer acting director, but permanent executive director. I don't personally know him, but I read very good things about him. And then, this is something I found just so amazing. In this year, Publishers Weekly, the book output topped 4 million in 2025. And this had been, the last couple of years, kind of generally been going down. And all of a sudden, it reached 4 million in 2025. I don't know all the reasons for that. I mean, some of the reasons, or one of the reasons maybe, it's a little bit easier to get your books published now because it's being done in an easier way. You don't necessarily have to go to one of the large big companies, and maybe that's why it's easier to get books published. But it's always nice to know that there's growth in the number of books that are being published.
That's cool. This is titles, over 4 million titles.
Yes.
That's crazy.
I
mean,
just
you look
love
at
this because I remember people asking me years ago, "Oh, do you think libraries are going away?" And so when this is why I put this in, because
Yeah,
when you
of course.
see this, that just shows you that people are still interested in reading, both physically, but digitally as well. But it's still there. We have very much a purpose beyond everything else that we do.
It's like a 38% increase over the previous year.
I know.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Next item I'd like to mention is the volunteer appreciation is April 22, 9 o'clock. And remind me, that's in the meeting, in the library?
Yes,
It-
and I do believe you all received an invite.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted
Just
to make sure.
Yes.
Great.
Were we supposed to RSVP?
Yes, please.
Yes.
I don't know if I did or not.
This is also I'm going to mention item E is the board committee assignments. We have 2 vacancies right now. because of the committees that Ajita was on. And I want to ask all the other board members to think about if you like the committee you're on, or if you don't like the committee you're on. Why don't you tell me in a couple weeks, and then I will, try to accommodate your request, but we'd like to get the committees back to full staff. And in particular, Tori, we want to get you on some committees and want to get you on some committees you'd prefer to be on and like to be on. But if you say about 2 weeks, if you could notify me within 2 weeks of your likes or your dislikes, and if I don't hear from you, I'm going to assume you're happy where you're at. And so that we can get all the committees operating fully again. And then I think you all know, but a couple health issues. Kathy Crawford fell, and she broke a bone, and she'll have to go to a rehab center for some time. So let's all think of our fellow trustee during this time of, I'm sure, pain and agony, and hope for her quick recovery. And then also, I wanted to just mention, and once again, Julie's done a good job of notifying this, but Pat Burnett, who was a true supporter of the library, passed away. His wife had passed away about 2 months earlier, but Pat was my mentor. He will be missed. I met him through the Friends, and he had been on this board. He was president of the board. He was always devoted to the library. Just a kind, wonderful man who wanted to serve. So we will remember Pat.
Yes.
And his wife Barb was as passionate and as involved with the library
Yes,
as well.
she was.
And I know many of the things that, I think what he did on the board was way before my time, but I was involved with him in the Friends, and I know that one of the things that he had organized at the Friends, which I thought were really neat, to get more people into the Friends, that during the holidays, they'd have a holiday ball, and he managed to meet up with builders that were building houses in Novi. And he had a very nice holiday ball at these new houses, and it attracted friends who may not have otherwise heard of the Friends or wanted to be involved with the Friends. And at the same time, I think he helped promote these houses for sale for the developers that were selling. I mean, but he was the type of guy, he could make so much good come out for everybody. It wasn't just one-sided, it was for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, they gave up model homes for us to have those events,
Wow.
and it was really cool.
That's
It
really
was, yeah.
Neat.
And you know how beautifully decorated they
Right.
are and stuff, and yes, yeah. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you recognizing him.
And so, as you all know, I was gone February. Thank you, Trustee Dooley, for taking over my responsibilities in the month that I was gone. Although I couldn't be here, Julie was kind enough to send me all the materials, and I was thinking of you and reading it. And so forth. Thank you for filling in. You did a great job.
You're welcome.
And with that, it's time for the treasurer's report. Brian is not with us tonight. He's hopefully made it through TSA today. He's supposed to be on a flight, and I hope he made it through TSA. But there was a couple things he asked if we could just mention. First of all, I think we're now looking at this year having a deficit of only about $83,000. That's come down a couple $100,000 from the last time we looked at that, as the numbers are being fine-tuned, and
Okay.
Julie and the staff are doing a great job of watching the purse strings. And then the other thing was, as we've been finessing numbers that we've been giving to the city for their consideration of our request, we keep juggling a little bit as we get more information. And that information was given to the city, but in our budget for this month, we haven't quite caught up with all those adjustments. So the 10-year projection has the latest, assumptions and analysis. And by next month, the things that we gave to the city, the fine tuning, the annual increases and things like that will be in our budget for 2026 and so forth. So anyway, Brian asked me to relay that, and so I said that I would. And other than that, I don't have anything to say in regard to the treasurer's report. I'll try to entertain questions if anybody has it.
I do have a question. On page 26, where we have the tax revenue, why is one of them at a 2% increase and the other at 3%?
That was information that was given to me from the city, from the finance department. So I put it in based on that information, which I've relayed back to the city so that they understand that I've put that in. But it came directly from the finance department at the time, which does not have the same employees that were there when I was getting those numbers. But I've made sure that as I sent them, that they were aware of those 2 percentages. In case there's any.
Different percentages?
Yes, 2 different percentages. In case there's any questions that come up, I made sure that they were aware of that.
Okay. Am I right, though? I don't understand how one can go up 2
I know,
and the other 3. Okay,
yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm looking
No,
at it right.
you're
Okay.
absolutely correct. And that was given to me in the memo that you got during budget time and that I also put in the board pack. There was a note of that 3% with what I was asking for the potential amount of the .200 and going forward. And I was given 3% for that. So I don't know, right, and so I don't know if, which I brought to Victor Cardenas, our city manager, is aware of. But I don't know if it should be 3 and 3 or
2 and 2.
or 2 and 2, correct.
Okay.
So I left them there for now. They are aware of it.
Okay.
And I let him know that that was given to me, and if it needs to be corrected, for him to let me know. Our budget right now, the numbers that you've approved in February, those are as good as they could be, but they were given to me in the fall. So they definitely could change, and if once I get solid numbers, I'll plug those in and we'll do a first quarter amendment once we know going forward as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure this is the entire reason, but one of the possible reasons they could be looking at 2% for general revenue and 3% for the additional .2 mils that we have asked for is that the general revenue will be reduced by Headley.
I wondered about that.
That Headley will have an effect on that. And the idea, as I understand it best, is they want to have the 2-point mills consistent without any reduction. So that is part of the reason that the second revenue category may see increases of 3%, where the general revenue may see increase of 2%. I can't say that's the entire reason,
So
but is a reason for the difference.
So the .2 mils won't be subject to Headley? It's not?
It does not have to be subject.
Okay,
It doesn't have to be, right.
got it. Okay.
It's more of a call for council, but it doesn't have to be.
Right.
I have a strange question,
There
just
are no
looking at the
strange
numbers. What's a book sorting machine as opposed to the automated materials handler?
What page?
I'm
are
on
you
page 16.
Okay.
I'm just looking at it. It just caught my attention, the book sorting machine,
It might be just
and it's a
using-
different
yeah.
company,
Let
so
me
I
just-
didn't know.
Page 16.
Yeah, I was just curious because
Oh, it's cross-beam?
crossbeam book sorting machine.
Well, that's in the
Oh,
that's in the
no,
warrants.
those are costs that went towards so my bookkeeper's using her language versus the automated material handling system. So it's the same.
Okay, so, because below it, there is one that says automated return.
Yes.
Oh, so
yes.
that
But
was.
But that went
those
to
are
link
separated out
Yes.
based
And
on-
their Crossbeam was the construction company.
Gotcha, they
that
got
did
it
the work.
together for
Yes.
the automated. Okay,
Yes.
great.
Okay,
I was like,
so-
going, wait, there's
yes.
not a different sorting thing, right?
Right,
Okay.
right. Crossbeam was the construction company that came out that did the
The
whole.
window,
everything
the
that had to
wall
be
and all
redone.
that, right, right.
Yes.
Okay.
Any
Great
other
question.
finance questions?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, I skipped a bit here. Usually before I jumped over to the treasurer's report, usually at the end of the presidential report, I open it up to other trustees for anything that they have done in the past month or something they plan on doing that may have some relevance to us, other board members or the public in general. And I apologize for backtracking, but I want to open it up now for that discussion. If any of the trustees have anything to add to that.
Well, I went to Emma's moth-type event that she had one evening, and the topic was kindness, and it was really very cool. It was really, I don't know if you guys are all familiar with the moth on NPR, but we each had a chance to tell a little story and talk about kindness in our lives, and it was just a really positive thing, you know, with so much craziness. Sometimes it's nice to go and talk about something that's just sort of heartwarming, so that was a really nice thing. And I will also be attending the jigsaw puzzle competition on Saturday.
Oh.
Yes. All right. I'm looking forward to that.
I was telling the few people that were
Yes.
here earlier, I took my granddaughter to the library yesterday because for some odd reason, she's all interested in 3D printing. So I wasn't able to figure out how to get a 3D printed instruction or file on my own. So I just went up there, talked to Mallory, shout out to Mallory for spending time with a newbie, and we made a, what is it? Axolotl.
Now you're gonna have to explain what that is.
Yeah. It's a little water lizard, but it is an articulating water lizard. So it's got parts, and we watched it being made, and I can't believe that this printer makes these things by layers, and it can make things that like link into, and it's like, I don't know, I was more amazed than she was, I think. But we went home and painted it, and so she was very excited.
Yes.
So it was a wonderful experience.
Awesome. I will let Mallory know. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. If not, we will then go to the director's report.
Great, thank you. We have one anniversary that's coming up in April, and it is for Arome Park. She'll be celebrating 4 years in our support services department, so congratulations to Arome. Update on our 65th anniversary and our campaign to raise $65,000. We are at $56,633.
Nice.
Just this week, I let events marketing and fundraising know that 100 letters went out electronically to businesses in the Novi community. And so if you have some businesses that you might think I should reach out to, let me know and I can tell you if I did or not. But so far I've heard from 2. Yes. And I was going to mail them, but then I thought, I'm going to do it electric because it allows me to do the link and everything and gets people to go right to our website and quicker to maybe when they're thinking in the moment to make a donation. So I think that actually worked better. But yeah, so we are doing well. I will do a taping on Monday morning with April coming and National Library. I call it month, but we have a week. So I'll do another plug for it and see if anybody is interested and, in the idea of celebrating with our library. There's also a giving day, and we'll promote that as well. So hopefully that drums up, and maybe we can get to that last, just about 9,000, and we'll reach our goal. So very excited about that. Also, we took part again in the book packing project for Financial Literacy Month, which always happens in April. Huge shout out to TLN, our consortium, because instead of it being at our building, which we do love, we actually put it there because we were moving those materials anyways through TLN, and it made it easier. I don't know why it took me 10 plus years to figure that out. It's probably Stephen and him being, way more open to, things with the member libraries, but shout out to TLN and to Stephen and his team. But we were able to take everything right there and get it all sorted, and then they didn't have to come pick up books and then schlep them. So it really saved time and space for everyone. And there's over 100 public libraries that are participating that get free books, a really cute book for that month. And they use it in youth programming, many of the libraries. So we've been doing that program and have been like the catalyst for it for many years. Beyond that, I have, on page 42, there was an update that now includes our safety committee and their purpose statement, so I wanted you to be aware of that, so I updated that. And then included some information about some book drives, an author live event that's coming up, and some future programming. So if you're interested in being at them or participating, please let me know. Page 51, I wanted to bring your attention to a really great explanation about ebooks and audiobooks. And this is a shout out to Mary Robinson. She didn't create it, but this was being used and was able to be shared through Rails, which is Reaching Across Illinois Libraries. She got the permission to use it for our library as a really good explanation of the ebooks and audiobooks and why sometimes it's difficult for us to provide so many. So I'm happy to entertain any other questions. Yes.
I'm glad that that infographic was put together.
Yes.
So I know that the ALA and libraries all over the country were trying to figure out how to work with the ebook providers because
And they're still doing it.
Okay, because
Yes.
they have us in a vice with
Yes.
how expensive the pricing is. Because I just wanted to point out to the trustees that one ebook costs as much as 3 print.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
I thought
is
that was a
wild.
That was amazing, yeah.
That's
It was
wild to me.
amazing statistics.
Yeah, these
Yeah.
graphics were great.
So they're still working on that?
They are.
Okay.
And PLA, I'll be gone next week, going to the Public Library Association Conference, and there's talks about that there, and
Yeah.
an opportunity to talk to those vendors that provide that. And, for us as librarians to show up and go, when are you gonna lower these prices? When are you gonna work with us? This really doesn't work. I've had to, watch my budgets now and make
Yeah.
cuts, and I don't have as much access for my readers because of it. So those are the things we'll be able to say in person next
So
week.
for the public's benefit, the publishers have their MSRP price. And then this is basically a distributor
Yeah.
that provides a quote-unquote service. And they're
Right, so it's
charging a
different for
premium.
libraries
So it's
because
a
of-
middleman?
I'm sorry?
It's a middleman,
between
technically.
the publisher.
So,
Yeah.
and there's pretty much only, a couple companies that
Yeah.
have the market, so.
That's
yes.
wild. Okay.
So it'll be worth asking.
Yeah, thanks, Julie.
You're welcome. Absolutely. So, yeah, I wanted to point that out to you because I thought that was really
Yeah.
good information. And again, I thank Mary Robinson who saw that there was an opportunity and need for that
Yeah, because.
and to share it with our community. So she has that flyer out and she's
Good.
making it available.
Yeah, because I've seen dialogue in some book groups and things like that.
Yes.
And people all over the country, they're looking at the hold list to
Yes.
be able to access their ebook
Yeah.
for certain books that are extremely popular right
Yeah,
now. And
the
the
new
hold
stuff.
list is so long.
right.
I know.
Right.
I know.
So, yeah.
Kind of off topic a little bit, but somewhat related. I've also been reading some things from publishers that are getting worried about this AI stuff and
Oh,
books being
yeah.
created by AI. And I know it has probably a little less relevance for libraries because you're not deciding what gets published or not, but
But we're
Is there
making
anything
sure that, there are measures that we're starting to watch and take into account
Yeah.
for that as well. Yeah.
right, just crazy.
I know,
Man.
this is really gonna change, it can really change things, so we'll be paying attention. There's a lot of AI at the actual conference next week that I plan to be
Interesting, yeah.
going to and listening to,
Interested to
so,
hear how that goes.
yes. I know,
Um,
and devices.
I just wanted to comment on the reports by the department heads
Yes,
and give a shout out to Mary Ann Zermulin
yes.
again for all the work that she did on this automated materials handling system. And she mopped the floor and cleaned the whole room. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
that's above and beyond. That
Yep.
is
Yep.
great.
I know, yeah.
Thank you so much. And I hate to single her out because everybody gives us these detailed
Yes.
reports.
That's pretty impressive.
And y'all are very busy.
Yeah, which is why I put some of this in, so that you can see, the work that's going on, in a month's time, and it's a busy business. It is definitely a
Yeah.
business, right?
And I did notice on Lori Lowry's that she pitched a Money Minds for teen and tween program. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the only comment I had on
Great.
those.
Actually, on that same page, I did have a thing. I don't know if we're pushing you along.
No,
Julie.
you're
You
good.
haven't really finished your report, but
You're good.
the job shadowing trial for the
Yes.
customer service committee.
Yes.
I think that, I'd love to hear a little more about it,
So
because it
that-
sounds like a fascinating idea.
One of the things that came out of strategic planning, actually, and then through customer service, was an opportunity for people to job shadow in different departments and learn a little bit more about them. So it's the first time that we're putting that in place. And we've had a couple people that have participated that actually sat down with another staff person to learn what their job is and what they do on a daily basis. So, yeah.
I think
Very
that's
cool.
I think that's a great idea.
Mhm.
Learn a
Yeah,
little
and
more
so
about the
far it's been
organization
received
and-
very well.
Good.
Yes.
That's cool.
Just a
Yep.
comment, nothing in your report besides the infographic about the ebooks, which I appreciated, because I think the first week I was shadowing, being a trustee, going to the budget meetings, people are like, oh, how about ebooks, as they're talking about budget. I'm like, I heard something about that, but this is a really great resource
Yes.
that I'm glad it's being pushed out and shared. But the other question is, I saw, it's not in your report, but I saw on social media the post about the closing time services. Is that in response to anything, or just patron questions, or just being proactive, sharing information? Like the 15 minutes before we close, these services are
Oh,
available, 10
yes.
minutes.
It is just so that they know what they can get till the end of closure. So we're just helping out patrons sometimes, just to make it easier for them to know because we do have a shutdown. We actually have it set up where the computers do shut down 5 minutes before. We don't want them to be caught off guard and stuff. So we thought we would give them a little breakdown of what happens in that last hour. Sometimes you can't, depending on the wait and the time, you might not be able to get a library card like 5 minutes at closing. It takes a lot longer than that. So we try to overhead and have that information, but also just trying to communicate that out a little bit more for patrons as well.
Gotcha. Is there normally a big rush at the end that hangs out till 8:30, 8:45, or?
It depends on the day. It's not always, but yes.
It's past my bedtime, so I never
Right,
dare.
exactly. So, yes, there are some times when we have some stragglers. So
Okay.
we always just want to make sure that they know what the expectation is.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'm all set unless there's any other questions.
Any other questions here?
All right, thank you.
I was going to do a shout out for some of these events that are happening before our
Yeah.
next meeting. I was looking for them here, like the Kaleidoscope. There's a couple things I think.
Oh,
are-
yes, our friends.
Yes. There's a, here it is, page 79.
Yes.
Wednesday, April 1 at 7 o'clock, an Albert Kahn memorials, mausoleums, and grave markers that the Kaleidoscope is sponsoring. And I just wanted to shout that out because it'll happen before our next meeting.
Absolutely.
And then a little bit beyond that, May 7, mapping Detroit's buried waterways. That also seems very interesting.
Thank you.
Okay. We're through with the director's report. This is the opportunity for members of the audience to make public comment. I don't see anybody here, so I won't recite the language that I've recited earlier. Moving on, committee reports. Does a committee have any report that they would like to make or discuss that's not part of the matters for board action later on? Just an update on what your committee's doing or not doing, or highlights. Not seeing anybody. Moving on, we will go to matters for library board action. First board action is election of officers for next year. Our secretary.
Lost it on my paper here.
Our secretary had solicited from the board members, anybody who wanted to apply for a particular office. That slate is presented here. President Mark Stirring, Vice President Kat Dooley, Treasurer Brian Bartlett, Secretary Carla Havingas. This is also an opportunity for the board members here tonight to add to that slate. So I would open that up if there's any board members that want to add any names to the slate.
I'm good.
Pass.
Okay. I think consistency is a good thing.
Yeah.
I agree.
So should we make a motion to approve the slate as presented?
Yes, if there was, like there was going to add a name to a position, we'd do them individually.
Okay.
But if there's not, I think I'd entertain a motion to approve the slate.
I'll make a motion to elect the library board officers for 26-27 as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Secretary, would you call the roll, or call the vote?
Trustee Helvangus says yes. Trustee Stirring.
Yes.
Trustee Yu.
Yes.
Trustee Burke.
Yes.
And Trustee Dooley.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
The officers for next year have been determined. Second item is the first reading of accommodations and accessibility policy on page 83 to 86.
So this is a first reading. We're not taking any motion on this, correct?
Correct.
It's up to you. It's always first
Yeah.
reading if you feel like it could go, it's,
To me, correct me if I'm wrong, Julie,
Yep.
this was more of a grammatical.
Yeah.
There were.
Some of them are just grammar.
yes.
I mean, I
So
did
it's
not.
Some are, yeah.
I really didn't see any substantive things here.
Right.
It is the first reading. However, to potentially save us time and, seeing this again, I'm not opposed if somebody would like to adopt this tonight.
I have a small thing on the first
Yes.
policy that it could be big, but it depends on what people think about it. When I read through it, I was just wondering about the order of the information overall. It felt like at the beginning, talking about people needing special accommodations essentially above and beyond what we offer.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if that shouldn't go after we explain all of the various accommodations that we already provide. Does that make
Oh.
sense?
Yes.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean? Like it's saying
Sure.
here, if you want something special, you have to do it 14 days in advance of whatever. But then we go on to say, here are the things that we already offer. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
It does. So just tell me so you want which paragraph then?
Like the second, probably the second paragraph where it says they've been instructed to be sensitive and we'll do the best we can kind of
Yep.
thing. Like maybe that can just be put really toward the end of everything where it's listed all the various things that we do. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Sure.
Maybe
So-
before filing a grievance or
Okay.
something like that?
Yep.
You know?
We
is what
definitely
I'm
can add
thinking.
that.
Does that make sense to anybody else?
I think that's a more logical way to arrange it.
Okay, great. Absolutely. I definitely can move that.
And just as a grammatical thing, both disability and housebroken to be bolded and in quotes is not necessary. Just as a
Which
thing.
page are you on?
I'm on page 83, disability, it's bolded and quoted.
Oh, I see.
And,
Yes.
and generally, when you're talking about a word being discussed, it should be in italics, but I don't know if italics is an option. If not, it could be quotes and not bolded.
Okay, we'll go with quotes.
Okay.
Okay.
Same thing for housebroken on page 85,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, great,
so.
wonderful.
And I thought it was pretty neat, all the service animals and adding those questions and the things
Yes.
that we,
And
I
that
think
came
is a
from the
result
book and
of that
everything
book,
that we-
right?
yes.
So that was
Mhm.
cool to see them
It did.
put in place.
Does any trustee want to offer a motion for this policy with the slight adjustments discussed by our secretary? Or would you rather wait for a second read?
I'm happy to move forward with the motion as long as Carla's okay.
As long
with
as
it.
I would
'Cause
stop
she
being so
had
nitpicky.
she had the changes, so I just want to make sure.
Well, I have some other small little things, but
Okay.
again, we've done it before where we've accepted with just small grammatical.
Yeah,
If it's just
which I'm-
grammatical, yeah. If it's not
Oh,
affecting.
for the same policy?
For all of them, I don't know if we're going ahead, or
We're
are we
just-
just looking at the first one?
just looking
We're just
at
going
the
at
I
that
was
first
just
one.
looking at the first
Yeah.
one. for
I
now.
see,
Yep.
all right, yeah,
Yeah.
sure, then I'm good with that.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll make a motion for us to approve the first reading of the accommodations and accessibility policy with the updates that trustee Helvangus provided.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a problem.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
that's,
Okay.
No, I was expecting this to be a first reading, and then we were gonna meet the policy committee
Okay,
and
okay.
That's
then
fine.
vote, so I haven't really looked at
Okay,
these.
no, that's
that's
a,
fine.
that's a,
Sorry.
that's a
And that's
very,
not a
I
fair
feel
thing.
very unprepared,
Yep.
but I wanted to read them
sure.
closer to the time where
That's
we were
fair.
gonna take a vote.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, no, that's fair, that's fair.
Yeah,
And I will keep the changes, in fact, I'll make the changes,
Okay.
so that way when they show up
Policy, yeah,
next,
just looks at it.
they'll be ready with the word approve.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever you feel comfortable with,
Yep.
like
Yeah, yeah, there's
especially
no
as
real
No, no,
rush.
that,
part of
that's
the
realistic.
policy
If you saw it was the first reading, that,
Yeah.
you know, might have got the
Yeah.
glance over.
If it's just like little things,
Yeah.
then we figured we would just approve it, but we'll just do it
Yeah,
however you
it's not
guys
like
want to
there's
do
a
it.
rush for
Well,
it either.
okay, for the second one,
We're on to the second
Well,
policy now?
just
Oh, no, we have-
just a quick question on this one before we move on.
Yeah, yeah.
Is the library still considered a culture city? Do we still participate?
We are
in that?
not.
Okay, so I remembered it for a time. but-
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
well, we still have a motion on the table, don't we?
Oh,
Yeah, I can withdraw the motion.
okay.
Motion
Motion
and
withdrawn.
I'll withdraw the seconding.
Everything's withdrawn.
Thank you.
Giving you a nice challenge here, Kirsten. Starting out.
Yeah, for the first meeting.
Any other discussion on this policy for accessibility?
I will bring it back with those changes.
Okay.
Okay.
Next matter for action. First reading for campaigning, petitioning, interviewing, and similar activities policy.
There were just two tiny little edits.
That's all there is on these?
Yep.
On this?
Yep.
Okay.
Are you okay with this one?
I'm good to go ahead with this one.
Okay.
All right, so, Kat, you want to make your motion?
Oh, sure. I'll make a motion for us to approve the campaigning, petitioning, interviewing, and similar activities policy as with the changes presented.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Need other?
Can I get a clarification on the second approver of the motion?
I seconded it.
You second, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, you
Secretary,
ready?
would you call the vote?
All right. Trustee Stirring,
Yes.
trustee Yu,
Yes.
trustee Burke,
Yes.
trustee Dooley,
Yes.
and trustee Helvangus says yes. Motion carries 5-0.
Next matter for discussion is changes to the policy.
That's really great.
I know, right?
So that literally is just that one thing?
Capitalizing one letter,
Yeah.
capitalizing one word. Are you okay if we go forward with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, let me read it now. I'm just-
What if we make it easier on a recording secretary and try to do the same? You wanna move it?
Yeah, I can do it. Making a motion to approve the first reading for the changes to the policies policy
And I'll second it.
as presented.
There we go.
Any discussion on the changes to the policies policy? If not,
Okay.
Carla, would you
Trustee
call?
Yu,
Yes.
trustee Burke,
Yes.
trustee Dooley,
Yes.
trustee Helvangus says yes, and trustee Stirring.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Next one is the circulation policy, first reading, pages 88 to 96. It's got a little more stuff in it.
It does.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I had a couple little things, and I actually spent some time looking up the whole number and then the parenthesis number.
Yes.
And it says there really isn't a reason to do that other than sometimes for clarity.
Okay.
But, I think for
It's
consistency.
our style, yes.
That we should
Yes,
keep doing it.
absolutely.
So they're at the 50,
Which page are you on?
I'm on page 88, the very first page of this
Yes.
circulation policy. The
Got
50
it.
public libraries.
No problem.
And what else? Same thing with on page 91, 1 year based on,
Can you give me
at
just?
the very
I see.
under non-resident. Yes, sorry. I have mine highlighted,
Yes.
you don't.
Got it.
Oh, I see, you want to be consistent with like the
Yes.
90 days
Right,
thing.
yes. If
Yes.
we're going to do it one place, we should probably do it throughout.
Absolutely.
Good.
And I'll make a note of that way, because this is the first set of policies coming back again for the first time.
Oh, okay, yeah, so I might be able to catch some of
Yes, we'll
those.
catch it, hopefully. Yep,
Okay, and I just had a question on page 93.
yes.
This is about the renewal and whatnot. I just noticed when you get a student or a child, a library card, and they have a parent, you can also have a second parent or guardian be on that.
Yes.
But I'm wondering, when it talks about renewing, it says something about, that a parent needs to be there. Does the second parent automatically then keep renewed, stay on that?
That is a good question.
I mean, I don't know how often that's an issue, but I
Yes.
just thought.
I will
I don't know if
actually bring that back
automatically
and
happens
ask.
Or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good call.
Yep, thank you.
Yep. And then on the bottom of 93, the very last thing there's also another one that needs.
Bottom of 93?
Yep.
Yes,
at the
I
very
see it, thank you.
one, yeah.
Great.
Shall I keep going, or do other people have things?
Go ahead. If
Okay.
you have more comments, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, on page 94, this is a thing that it looks like you're changing "are" to "is" under borrowing, renewing, holds, in the very first line,
Library
Under
material
borrowing.
loan periods
and renewal, and hold eligibility is listed. I don't know why that would change from "are" to "is."
Because there's multiple topics.
Right.
Right.
The other places to have "is" makes sense, because you're talking about this
Right.
thing being "is" there.
I will double check on that as well. Okay. Because that came from suggestions from support services. So,
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. On page 95 at the top, circulation desk and self-check really don't need to be capitalized.
Oh, right.
And then under fees for damaged, destroyed, or lost materials, 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth bullet that has that little sub-bullet,
Yes.
I'm just wondering if it wouldn't be more ease of reading to say, instead of including highlighting, to say, this may include highlighting, stamping, comma, coloring. I don't know why it's stamping or coloring.
Okay.
And then again, for consistency, instead
Yes.
of damage by liquids, liquid damage. And instead of sticky, would be stickiness. So we have all nouns.
Yes. Hold on, I just want to.
I just realized, Julie, that we're specifying tiers in that paragraph.
Is it tears?
I did the same thing. I did the same thing. I thought, is that somebody crying?
I was like, wait a minute.
It's tears. I did the same thing.
Wait, what?
I'm done. Where
Right.
Carla was talking about in that list of,
Oh, yes.
It's
I
just
thought
tears.
it said tears.
I did too.
tears.
I picture people being emotional reading the
Yes,
Soil.
right. I wonder if we might be able to come up with maybe a different word. Rips. Yes.
I'm gonna cry.
Yes, right?
I did the same thing.
Hold on, I got stickiness, but what was the other one that you said?
Stamping, comma, coloring. I don't know why
Yeah,
stamping
instead
and
of
coloring
or.
goes
Right.
together. And then liquid damage instead of damage by liquids.
Gotcha, thank you.
And then then they're all consistent.
Yes.
So
Wonderful.
this may include blah, blah, blah.
Yes, this may include,
So-
I like that.
Okay, and that's all I
Perfect.
got for that one.
Great, we'll definitely bring that one back.
Any other comments from other trustees? This will come back.
Yes, it
Yeah,
will.
this is a bigger
We'll-
one, so
we'll
I
move
think.
on this one. Any
absolutely.
other comments now for the benefit
That's
of
wonderful.
staff?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. First reading of the closure policy, 9798.
So it's just clarifying them better. We used to have staff and service day, but now we call it professional development day. And the days that we've carried regularly now that are closures.
Okay.
Is
I've got no problem.
the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend an added one? It's in red.
We have been always doing it, and it just wasn't called out on the list. So, yeah.
Was that
So-
the same thing with MLK Day?
Yes.
Oh.
MLK, well, we were open for many years.
Yeah,
And then
we
we
were.
decided to make that closure, so we wanted to
We're
put
just
that-
trying to
yes.
reflect it?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I just wanted to make sure that the
I don't,
information was.
can't comment until there's been a motion. Never mind.
Well, no, because it's a first read.
No,
so-
we
Yeah,
haven't
this is
had a
first
motion.
reading.
I don't know that we need to make these Saturdays of these 3-day weekends permanent, a permanent part, because every year the vacation schedule changes. And then we run into being closed too many days in a row. And I know that you've been doing this for a while, but
Yeah.
I don't happen to agree with closing the library for 3 days in a row. That's what vacation days are for. If they want to take that time off, then take the time off. I don't have a problem with, with the actual day. But I kind of have problems with the Saturdays and Sundays, and you know that from previous meetings. So I don't know that I'm in favor of adding these to make it like a permanent thing.
Okay, that has been practice for years. We don't decide on Memorial Weekend. I always provide them to you, but those always have been dates when I present them to you that we've always been closed. What I always highlight when I bring it to the board in the summer for calendar is the additional days that I would recommend closing depending on something falling. But Memorial and Labor Day weekend has always
on a
been
Monday.
a consistent closure of the weekend.
3 days.
Yes.
Well, I realize that I'm in a minority on this thinking, but I have a problem with that.
I have some sympathy with that concern, Lori.
And I choose not to make it, I don't even think the Sundays should be there. I think the days that, if you're going to put it in an employee handbook policy, these are the days that you get off. New Year's, Easter, if you want to put Mother's Day and Father's Day, fine. Memorial Day, Juneteenth. Those are holidays. Those are national holidays. All these added ones,
Well, there's a difference between closure to paid holiday. So Mother's Day is not a paid holiday, it's a closure.
but
Yeah.
people don't get paid for that.
No.
No.
And don't people get mad that they have to not, that they can't work and they can't get paid?
We let them know in advance, so they have it, and I haven't had any mom complain that they aren't working on Mother's Day, when most of our profession is female.
Okay. Well, I just don't think that these extra days, the Saturdays and Sundays of the long weekends, should be permanently in this. I think those are extra days that we give people. So what you're telling me, what is this list here? These
This
are
is
paid
the-
holidays?
No, this is just
the
closures.
public, these are the days that we have closures so that the public knows that these are regular closures of the library.
Yeah.
Consistent closures of the library.
The paid holiday policy is separate.
Yeah, and that's in the HR manual.
Yeah.
On page 99, there's a list of the holidays, the paid holidays. Those would be holidays that the people get paid for,
Yeah. just
provided
those
they're
days.
working the day before or the day after.
Or they make up the time. during
Or
that
so
week.
it's an
Yeah.
official vacation day or something like
Yeah.
that. That's my, am I correct
Yes.
on that, Julie?
Well, is this something that then the policy committee should, talk about and bring back for us to Since this is a
Well,
first read, I guess I'm not sure what
if it's-
the
if
process
it's a-
should be here.
If it's public policy, yes. If it's employee policy, it falls under HR.
Right.
And this is the public.
This is
Okay.
the public.
Yeah.
So there's no changes to this policy. Nothing's been added new.
Yeah.
It's just calling them out
Making
based
it
on
right.
practice
Sure.
over many, many years.
Why are they in red, though?
Because
They were missing before.
they weren't in the list. We always had them closed, but we're
Oh.
we're just being more specific
Oh, we're-
in terms
With
of
what
just
we've done over the past.
what we've done.
The paper's
Yes.
becoming more
Yes.
correct that
Correct, yes.
we're adding to the paper what our practice has been.
What we've already been practicing. And so then if someone were to be looking up this policy and looking for closures of the library, we have this as a public policy that people can go to on the website.
So
They
they
would
know.
see that those are listed. Yeah.
Well, I think this needs to go to policy committee.
Yeah, that's not, and everybody knows my concern about whether the automatic sorting machine works or not works
Yeah.
when we have 3 days.
3 days off.
Close.
I do.
We'll be testing it
Yeah,
for
we'll be
Easter
seeing-
weekend.
Yeah, you
so-
are
There you go.
testing it this
Yeah.
year. One thing that I would say though is I think the two specific holidays that seem to be in question unless there's more are Memorial Day weekend and Labor Day weekend, and I do not believe that there is a lot of use of our library on those weekends. So to just open it for opening's sake, I would disagree with that.
I think that's a valid
Yeah.
thing to be addressed,
Yeah.
what the
And-
usage is.
I wouldn't have any data because we've always
been
been closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
But I'm just thinking in the culture of the community, nobody's here. So,
I personally don't have a problem with leaving it as it is written here.
Okay,
But-
well, Brian's on the policy committee with me,
yeah.
so we'll address that.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll get a third person.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the
Yeah.
committee's many missing persons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a meeting, we won't have a third person for that meeting.
Say that again, Julie, please.
We have a meeting scheduled in April before our April 16th meeting, and we won't have a third person
Oh.
assigned.
Okay, well, so we're going to postpone this to, push this to the policy committee.
Right, and then when the full board is here, we can have, if it comes to having a vote, we'll have a vote.
And Julie, when
Yes.
you bring it back after policy reviews it, could you make sure to give us like some stats on how many years, like just accurately we've been doing it? Don't answer now. I want you
Oh,
to
I
be
can answer
accurate.
you because it's been at least 18, at least since I've been here.
Okay.
I can give you that as a,
You just need to have
History.
like, yeah,
yeah.
you just have to be, yeah, we have to have all that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe if you're testing it, the machine over Easter, we should just postpone this until, because that would be information that would be useful in deciding the policy.
And the meeting is the 16th, so it's after
So it is
Easter.
after Easter.
Okay,
So for 18 years, Labor Day and Memorial Day weekend, it's been closed the whole time.
I will go back and look. I'm
Right.
pretty confident. I'll
Yeah,
see if I can
yeah.
dig back
Yeah,
and see.
But just to emphasize
Yeah.
again, it's only paid on the actual day of the holiday.
Correct. It's only just the actual
What we're
Labor
talking about,
Day and
employee.
Memorial Day.
Correct.
That are holidays
Yeah.
that the staff get paid for.
Lori, would it help if some other data, like what other libraries are doing for those weekends, help?
Oh, I can look that up.
policy?
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, that would be
See where
good.
we are
Sure.
relative to the Farmingtons or West
Sure.
Bloomfields or Plymouths or whatever.
Okay.
Deserves consideration.
Yeah.
Any other comments on the closure policy other than what we've talked about yet?
Great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so then we're moving on to this. We got a lot of items for
We do
for
tonight.
approval tonight.
I know.
This is going to be a record here.
You know what,
We're at 7, we still
So
have a
we're
few
on
more to go.
7.
Julie,
I'm sorry.
One more thing, it says
Yes.
whenever Christmas Day or New Year's Day falls on a Sunday, the library will be closed on the Friday before.
Yep, that's been a long time.
No, that's not my
Yep.
point.
Oh, sorry.
Wouldn't you rather have the day after Christmas off rather than the Friday before? I mean,
Yeah, I'm open to,
Yeah, I think isn't that how a lot of businesses do it?
Yeah.
When the holiday falls on a Sunday, they give them the Monday.
I'm used to the day before.
I mean, I'd
but I
rather
think
have
it depends on the business.
I'd rather have the day after Christmas if it's on a Sunday, but maybe we could rephrase it so we'll be closed either the Friday before or the Monday.
well,
After.
let me just play devil's advocate and let you know that Mondays are open longer. So Fridays, I think, was chosen because we have less hours that we're open, and Monday you're open longer.
Oh, I
So
see.
that is a benefit to the patrons if we're open on Monday,
I see.
Okay.
if you want to look at it that way.
Sure.
In terms of service.
Sure.
Because I know that's being open and being
Mhm.
open the hours.
Well, plus it's Christmas break, so, I don't know. They're not gonna be around on Friday anyway. The kids, most of the people that use them. Okay, so we're pushing that off. Okay,
Okay.
never mind, okay.
Item number 7, not a first reading.
No.
Not a first reading.
Not a first reading.
Okay.
This would be a request to approve a universal change in policy terminology to change board to library board of trustees when mentioned in a policy for the first time, then to board for any subsequent mention within a policy.
I would move to approve.
Second.
So do you have to go
Through
through
these easy.
all the policies
We will,
again?
yep.
Oh
This
my
is, we're
gosh.
starting all
So you
over
can
and cleaning things up, so this is.
Can we change it to the Board of Trustees, kind of like the Ohio State,
Change the problem to library board of trustees.
and capitalize it?
Right.
I would just take the staff to make what I consider these somewhat minor changes.
They're very easy in Word because you
Do a
identify
search
it.
and find.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Yeah. It's not, this is not anything major.
It's not time consuming, because I think
Yeah.
without actually adopting this,
Right.
nobody's gonna misunderstand it.
Well, and we're going to be going, like I said, we're starting all over. We're back to a new cycle where we're actually reviewing everything again. So
Okay,
yeah. We'll make those changes as they come up.
okay.
Ready?
I think that was then, we have to have a vote on this.
Yep.
You too.
All right, trustee Burke,
Yes.
trustee Dooley,
Yes.
trustee Helvangus says yes, trustee Stirring,
Yes.
trustee Yu.
Yes.
Motion carries,
Did somebody move it?
yeah, we did,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I
That's
missed
what
that.
we
Motion carries
It's been moved
5-0.
and seconded, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep, you got it.
I'm not as fast as all these other people.
Well, we've had a lot of them, so.
Item 8, recommendation from the HR Board Committee to approve revisions to the HR policy holidays.
This made me sad.
Me too.
Me too.
That's on page 99.
Yes.
The change is on 100 though, right?
Yes.
I'm looking
Okay.
for it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll-
I'm embarrassed to say this because I'm on that committee and I didn't catch that doctors has no reason to be capitalized.
Gotcha. I
So
will,
Where's
that
that?
minor thing,
I will make that minor change.
doctors know.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, yeah, so just to give context, because trustee Crawford's not here, but we met on this policy, and it's just to make things above board, to make sure that if someone, so that they don't, I think,
That you're staffed.
bookend, yeah, yeah. They don't bookend like a sick day after a holiday type of thing. They have to have proof, which we think is fair, because there's been times where unfortunately there was some staffing issues due to last minute
Well, that
situations.
statistic is just
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And Kristen Sullivan and I had been monitoring it for a while. And noticed, it was great, we put it in, and then unfortunately we started seeing it changing, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so did we motion to, do
Not
we have to
yet.
approve that?
We do have to approve this.
Yeah, we have to
Yes.
approve
So-
it.
so we need
Nobody-
to-
And I've got the change.
Prove it with that
Yes,
minor
with that one
change,
minor
yeah.
change.
Oh,
Somebody's got to.
I move to approve with the minor change of not capitalizing doctors.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay,
It's been
Any more discussion?
moved and seconded to adopt the recommendation to the HR Board Committee to approve revisions to the HR policy with the minor change of decapitalizing the word doctor. Any other discussion? If not, I'll ask the secretary to call the vote.
Trustee Dooley.
Yes.
Trustee Helvangus says yes. Trustee Stirring.
Yes.
Trustee Yu.
Yes.
Trustee Burke.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
We're nearing the end.
Yeah, we're getting there. Gosh, I'm gonna run out of columns on my sheet.
This is the most
The
motions we've
the ninth matter for library board action tonight. This is a recommendation from the Building and Grounds Committee to approve a one-year landscape and lawn care service contract with Brains Services, Inc., with an option to renew 2 additional years in 1-year increments at the same price, terms, and conditions of the original contract, with a not-to-exceed annual cost of $23,647, which includes regular landscaping and lawn care for $20,378, spring cleanup for $1,362, and fall cleanup for $1,907, as set forth on pages 101 and 102 of our handout.
I move to approve.
Second.
We'll give Tori that second.
Yep. A little slow.
Trustee Yu, yes.
Any discussion?
I just have one question. In the quotes, under ACE Outdoor Services, and also on page 101, and also on page 102, they have 2 asterisks next to their name, and I don't see where I'm directed
Oh, where the
anywhere.
asterisks are. Well, I don't either, now that you say that, but that had to do with the fact that they did not give an completed
Yes.
That's-
quote.
I wondered about
They had
that.
missing information and
Yes.
some
Okay.
other things that made it not comparable.
Right.
And the other thing I will add is Breen's is our current service provider, and we tend to be very satisfied with them.
We have been.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Brian's.
Brian's? Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Any further discussion? It's been moved, it's been seconded, no discussion. Secretary, would you take the vote?
Trustee Helvangus says yes. Trustee Stirring.
Yes.
Trustee Yu.
Yes.
Trustee Burke.
Yes.
Trustee Dooley.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Just note in the communication, there is some communication on pages 103 to 105, and Julie has responded to those people, and I think in a very appropriate way. If you want to see more details, it's there, but I thank you for taking care of all that communication for us, Julie. It's like, here's the issue and here's the answer, and we can move on. Thank you.
Sure.
There is no closed session tonight. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I just have one quick
sure.
question
Go ahead.
that I forgot to ask. Back in the, you don't need to look it up.
Okay.
There was a stat on how many mailer bags went out. How do those patrons return the books?
They get postage that's already set up for them to return back. So they turn it around, the postage is there ready for them to get back.
Postage paid?
That's really cool.
Yep.
Okay.
We get a special rate, don't we, since we're nonprofit, or no?
I'd have to look into that I'm not familiar with.
Okay.
I think we do, because I think I just heard.
I think we do
I
as
just
well.
heard a report about the stuff going on with the Postal Service and how some of the special things they offer, like things like that, are things people don't consider when they talk about.
I just remember
What's going on at the
doing
post
direct
office?
mail for nonprofit, and we would get a different rate.
I'll double check.
I also wonder if there's, and I know we're serving the public, but that seems like, and our postage is an expense. I wonder if there's some kind of grant out there for servicing older adults or disabled adults or something, whatever the reason is, that these people are getting door to door.
It's not just for older adults, it's for anyone who.
Mobility issues or.
Right.
whatever.
Right.
Right.
Or that's why I said
Okay.
older or disabled, or whatever the reason is.
Sure.
I just wonder if there's some kind of grant out there.
I don't know if it'll pay for postage, but I can look. Yeah.
Even if
It's
it's,
usually what it does is it pays to start up something, so like the bags and, the materials you use to put things together. And we used the Friends when we did that, and they actually supported it and put it.
okay.
Right, so we didn't actually pay the library, the Friends actually did the initial start of the mail bags. But
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
That's all.
I'm
From
sure
the
there is.
state or
and
county or anybody.
When we were starting it, that, we could have looked into a grant, but we were fortunate enough to have the Friends give us the money to go towards it.
Just wondering.
Before we adjourn, I'll entertain a discussion about our meeting next month. We are scheduled to have a regular meeting on April 16, and we were going to take an hour or so before that. We were invited to take a tour of the automatic return system. As I think you've all got the notice now from Julie, that we were probably going to we should have a special meeting on April 23 to approve some bids for the doors, systems in the front that are not going to be ready on the 16th.
Right.
Hopefully we'll be ready for the 23rd. And if they're acceptable and we approve them, the work could get done this year. Julie and I talked briefly today about if the board members care if instead of having two meetings on the 16th and the 23rd, if we put our regular meeting at the time of the 23rd, we'd have one meeting and we could do it all. Would you prefer to do it all in one meeting a week later? And I don't think there's anything time sensitive at the April 16 meeting,
There is not.
but obviously the April 23rd meeting is
Yes.
somewhat time sensitive. So the
Yes.
thought was we can have two meetings at the discretion of the board, or we could just have one meeting on April 23. So just kind of throwing that out now for the members, if you would prefer to just have one meeting but have it be a week later.
The 23rd would be in the library board.
It would be, and so was the 16th. It was
Oh, it
at the
was?
library anyways, yes,
Okay.
because that had been a change.
Okay. I'm happy with one meeting. I like that idea.
Yeah, I'm just double
I won't be
checking.
at either,
No,
so.
I know.
We're
You're
all
out of
checking
town.
our calendar here.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's fine, because I think I responded that I could be there, so the number is
You-
23?
Yes,
23, yeah.
yes.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. that would
Do
work.
we
Would
So
we do
need
the
to
tour
take
of
a
the-
motion?
of the
Oh, with the
I will reschedule it, not a problem.
I mean,
I
is that
think-
what-
I
somehow
think
I
it's
think we're
doable.
saving people some time if we have
Absolutely,
one meeting.
and I think it's doable that we could switch it, yeah.
So just a comment, this has been a good first meeting, but you did not scare me away. April, I will not be here because I'll be with the 8th graders in DC.
Yes,
Oh, bless you. Wow,
I might rather be here, but,
Is that class trip?
yep.
that's wonderful. Good for
yes.
you.
Do we need a motion?
We do.
To change?
You
it?
do.
Oh, no, to change it? Oh, we
Yes,
do.
you would
Oh,
need a
okay.
motion to change that,
Okay.
Because we have to give notice.
right. And I'd rather have the notice and put it out now if that's what you'd
Yeah,
rather do.
sure.
Okay.
So I know for sure we've got quorum because 4 out of the 5 of you have said yes.
Yes.
And I do believe
Brian will
it'll
probably
work
be
for
back.
Brian, but probably trustee Crawford will probably not be here again.
Right.
So you'd have 5.
Okay. Then I'd ask if someone
All right.
would make that motion.
I'll make the motion. Motion to approve the change of the regular board meeting from the 16th to the 23rd. That's really the only thing we have to change,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
And in locations at the library.
Locations at
Which
the
would have
library.
been, right?
Yes, it would have.
Starts at
Yes.
7 o'clock.
Yes, 7 PM, same time.
And you can get
Second.
all the appropriate notices out for the.
I
open
will.
meetings.
Okay.
Yep, I'll do it now.
You got
Got
me?
you.
Got you.
It'll be able to, which is great, it'll be able to make it in the e-news too. So it's
Okay.
wonderful. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Did that get
So we
seconded
got
by
first
somebody?
and second, yes?
Did we get?
Trustee Burke
Yep,
seconded.
you're good.
Okay, cool, okay. Any
All right.
discussion? Secretary, call the vote.
Trustee Stirring,
Yes.
trustee Yu,
Yes.
trustee Burke. Yes. Trustee Dooley.
Yes.
Trustee Helvangus says yes, motion carries 5-0.
Wonderful, thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
And we can do that by show of hands,
Everybody in favor?
adjournment.
Aye.
Yep. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank
you all.
Thank you.